Support for the Ham Radio Guy podcast is provided by Club Gear Online. They offer a unique selection of customizable items, including graphic design services and amateur radio apparel. They are the go-to company for our club, and anytime I'm looking for a new ham radio shirt, I head over to clubgearonline.com to see the latest designs. Enter the coupon code podcast at checkout to receive 10% off your purchase. Check them out at clubgearonline.com. This week, we bring you the latest on Huntsville Hamfest, ARRL News, and we have a special guest, Audrey McElroy. Find out who she is and much more. Stay tuned. Hello and welcome to the Ham Radio Guy. If you like this podcast, hit that subscribe button and follow me on Twitter. I'm your host, Marvin W0MET. On our show today, we have this year's award winner for the Young Ham of the Year 2022. The Young Ham of the Year award was inaugurated by William Pasternak, WA6 ITF, in 1986, and upon his passing in 2015, Bill's name was added to the award as a memorial to his commitment in recognizing the accomplishments of young people to the amateur radio service. Today, we welcome Audrey McElroy, KM4BUN, to the program. Good morning, Audrey.
Hi there. Happy to be here.
Thank you for calling in, and appreciate you having taking some time out of your day to be with us this morning on this Saturday morning.
Yeah, absolutely.
So you've been awarded the Young Ham of the Year award, which will be presented in just 2 weeks from today down in Huntsville, Alabama at the Huntsville Hamfest. So let's start off a little bit in the back here. How did you get notified that you had won the award this year?
That's a great question. So at the time, I was still finishing up my summer semester at Georgia Tech, and I got a phone call when I was working on some sort of homework. And I picked it up, and, I was told, oh, yeah, this is going to be an interview. And I'm like, oh, okay, that's not that big of a deal. And so he just started to interview me like I was one of the finalists, and that, he wanted to know a little bit more about me. And probably about 15 or 20 minutes in, he's like, oh my gosh, so what if I told you that you were the Young Ham of the Year? And I was like, oh my goodness. I'm sure you can hear on the recording me being like, oh my goodness. But yeah, Mark Abramovitz was like, yeah, so you are the Young Ham of the Year. And it was wasn't really an interview. It was more of just, an interview for the article that was about to go out. So that was very exciting.
That is very exciting. That's very cool. What a neat way to show you that you had won that award. Did any particular group or person nominate you for that award this year?
Yes. So I originally was not going to apply, but I was told by Neil Rapp, who works with YOHTY Region 2,
Absolutely,
and who I have done a lot of work with. He was like, no, you should apply. You should apply. And so he was the one who really pushed me to do it. And he put in the official nomination form on his end. And so, yeah, I mean, if it wasn't wasn't for him, I probably wouldn't have applied. So, but yeah.
Yeah, Neil does a lot of great work with the young hams and amateurs throughout the country. So, for sure. Some of the criteria I was looking at for the Young Ham of the Year award is basically being under 18 years of age and having some significant contribution and addition to ham radio. What are some of the accomplishments that you've done throughout your amateur radio experience to kind of make this happen?
Yeah, so probably about four years ago, I really started getting involved in some more interesting aspects of amateur radio. Up to that point, it was more of like, casual contesting, field day, stuff like that. But started to get more interested into altitude balloons and satellite communications. And so I started to get into that. And I was invited by Carol Perry to do some presentations with her when I met her at Huntsville a few years ago now. And I started to do presentations about that, but I also started to get involved in talking about how to bring more women into STEM. And personally, as a woman who is going into a very heavy STEM field, I wanted to see more women get involved in that. And so my presentations were based on bringing more women in STEM via amateur radio. And so I talked about that a lot and did a lot of outreach. I worked with the YLRL, Young Ladies Radio League, and I did some outreach internationally with the Girl Scout group in Manila, Philippines. And I also started to do work with some local elementary schools. And so bringing STEM into the classroom, launching some little balloons and stuff like that. And so I think my overall goal has been bringing amateur radio to the youth and to the women and, making the world more knowledgeable about amateur radio and how fun it could be.
Absolutely. We enjoy having our, as we call them in amateur radio, YLs, young ladies always, whether you're 18 or 88, we always still call you YL. And it's good to always have them out there. And I certainly encourage the ladies in the area that are part of our club, my wife being one of them that just got her license this year after about 20 years plus of marriage. I was able to convince her to go get her license, and she did that. So, and she works in of course, I want to step back just a second. Some people may not know what STEM is, and that's obviously science, technology, engineering, and math. For those who are kind of wondering what maybe STEM is that were listening. And she certainly works in the science field and technology stuff, and a little bit of engineering as well. And I think she has some math also involved in what she does as a research scientist. So, but she was, she was happy to get that license as well when she did get it. So, and I continue to encourage women to do amateur radio, and it is definitely a male heavy dominated field, but some women do some phenomenal things in this field. It sounds like which you have done as well. You've had also an opportunity to do a de-expedition at some point here. I don't see exactly in your bio a little bit when that was. Kind of how, at such a young age, did you get invited to go on that de-expedition, and how was that from your perspective?
Yeah, so that was back in July 2019, and that is the Dave Coulter Youth Memorial DX Adventure, sponsored by the Dayton Amateur Radio Association. It's a great opportunity for any youth interested in amateur radio. It's only for youth, so it's usually a team of anywhere from 3 to 4 youth and some sort of parent or guardian. And in that July 2019, we went down to the island of Curacao, which is just off the coast of Venezuela. And we had the opportunity to work at the PJ2T station, which is, in my opinion, probably the nicest radio station I've ever been able to work at. And we were able to, it was me and my brother, Jack KM4ZIA, and Bryant Rascal, KG5HVO, who was also an amazing contester. We went down there and we were able to make a ton of contacts, I think over 6,500, which was record breaking at the time. And that was a lot of fun. And so I would encourage any youth who are interested in amateur radio to definitely apply.
Will they take anybody kind of across the board that applies for that every year, and they continue to do this Dave Coulter the expedition still?
Yeah, they just did one. This was the first one they were able to do since my my DX adventure, just because of COVID.
Some of that.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, any kid, I think if you need a little bit of contesting experience, you need a little bit of knowledge on how to work with some logging software and just how to work some radios. But, you do not need to be a super duper experienced contester. There will be a lot of people there to help you out. And so it's a great learning experience.
Yeah, that is a phenomenal venture that young amateurs can get into and experience them. So that was very good for you to have that behind you, as well. So the other thing was kind of, how did you get started in amateur radio?
Yeah, so my father was licensed a few years before I was. Obviously, I was very young. And the main thing for my parents was, especially my mom, was seeing 9/11 happen. My mom grew up just down there in that same area of New York, and it was very impactful for her. And so she saw what happened. She saw how the communications went down, and she said that she had to get licensed. And so she did. my mom has a tech license and my dad has an extra license. And so when I was little, I was out there with my dad, helping him a lot, in the hot Georgia heat, which is so much fun when, it's July and you have to run coax out to the backyard and do pulleys to put up antennas, and it's a whole thing. But so I got involved in that pretty young, and I got interested. I was interested in the contesting, and I thought that was a lot of fun. But it was really mainly maybe 4 or 5 years ago where I started to take in a different direction, where I started to get really interested with amateur radio in terms of altitude ballooning and stuff like that.
And are you an extra today?
Yes.
And how many years have you been an extra at this point? Because you're just 18, is that correct?
I just turned 19 like last week.
Oh, happy birthday, belated. So.
Yeah, thank you. So I remember I passed my extra test on the night of the 2016 presidential election. So
wow,
it's been that long.
Oh, good. That's awesome. I did achieve my general and extra in the last 2 years myself. I was a technician level for the longest time, and it has been such a blast to be able to have the opportunity to have the extra bandwidth to play in the general and extra areas, and I really truly enjoy HF, and doing a lot of portable parks on the air has just been my absolute blast of HF world, going out there and trying different parks and stuff. Do you get out and do much portable operations?
I did a couple years ago. We live right next to a mountain, Sawney Mountain, and we did a little bit of Sawney Mountain's like kind of a big hill, I guess, for people who are used to, the rest of the country. But we did a little bit of that. But we're actually just now getting back into it. My brother's really interested. He loves hiking, and so he's very interested in SOTA.
Absolutely.
And so he's planning out all these trips, drive north up a little farther up the Appalachian Mountains, and yeah.
I'm sure he'll have a blast with that. Like I said, it's parks in the air is my thing, and it's a ton of fun. We're into early August here, and sounds like you have just graduated the Forsyth Central High School, and you'll be moving into college this fall. And kind of what are your plans for going into school and with STEM and a career from here?
Yeah, so I graduated back in May. I started summer studies a little earlier than some of the fall kids at Georgia Tech. So I was moved into a dorm for about 5 weeks, and I was starting some classes. But I just moved back out, but I'll be moving in next week. So very quick turnaround time.
Absolutely.
But so I'll be starting fall at Georgia Tech, majoring in computer engineering, which is a great, I think, marriage of electrical engineering and a little bit of computer science. So I'm very excited. Georgia Tech not only is a great institution for engineering here in the South and throughout the world, but also they have a great radio station, W4AQL, always ranks in the tops for any contests done. And so I will be getting involved with them more in the fall. And it'll be very exciting. I plan to continue, what I've done with amateur radio, but at the collegiate level.
So you're a very busy young lady at this point, so.
Oh, yeah.
For sure. Well, I think that's all we have today. I appreciate you taking some of your time to spend some time with us this morning, and thank you for being on the program. And we do look forward to seeing you getting the award at the Huntsville Hamfest on Saturday, August 20th, 2022 at the Von Braun Center. So if you are going to be in Huntsville, for anyone listening out there, you're going to be in Huntsville for the Hamfest, stop in and see Audrey, as she will be around, and congratulate her on the Young Ham of the Year award, being the winner of that. So have a great day, enjoy, and again, thank you for being on the program this morning.
Thank you for having me. I look forward to it. I'll see everyone in Huntsville.
Absolutely. Have a good one. Bye-bye.
All right, thank you. Bye-bye.
And with that, we are just 2 weeks away from the date of this podcast, and we will be in Huntsville for that Friendliest Hamfest. The Hamfest that started all the way back in 1954. It was originally held in Decatur, Alabama, and in 1980 it moved to the Von Braun Center, which had just opened. It has now grown over 80,000 square feet, and I'd say today, going out on a limb, that it's the third largest Hamfest in the country. This ham fest continues to grow and get better every year. It has all indoor booths, which are all sold out, and including all the boneyard tables or the flea market. This is all an indoor and air. Yes, it's air conditioned for this time of year. For those who live in the South here, we can certainly appreciate that. And they have thousands of dollars of prizes to give away, so you still time to get your ticket. And again, as Audrey said, we hope to see you all there in Huntsville. And from the news desk, the Young Amateurs Radio Club will host their first inaugural youth-organized special event from September 1st through the 15th, 2022, using the call sign WY4RC. This event is known as Worked All Zones, and operators will be activating the WY4RC stations from all 10 U.S. call zones. The different awards are available for youth operators who activate a station and for those who contact at least 6 WY4RC stations. Any amateur that is, interested in operating during the event can find the rules and additional information at the Young Amateurs Radio Club website. And this organization was originally founded back in 2017, and it is an international amateur radio club with a focus on promoting adoption and innovation in amateur radio among young people. And other news coming from Kentucky, with the recent devastating floods that we have all heard on the news, the American Red Cross and ARES in the area have gathered together, and there are over 400 disaster workers on the ground, as well as dozens more in other locations. They have provided items such as shelter, meals, and other forms of support. And the Red Cross is working along with state and municipal partners, including the Amateur Radio Emergency Service of Kentucky. The ARRL Director of Emergency Management, Josh Johnston, KE5MHV, was in touch with the American Red Cross personnel in the affected area and said ham radio volunteers were supporting Red Cross damage assessment teams with radio communications. It is a rural and mountainous terrain of the affected area, which adds to the more difficult situation. So radio communications have been very vital with ARES amateur radio operators. ARES groups from Ohio and Virginia have also been in touch with hams in the affected areas and have been on standby, ready to respond if needed. And my one last tidbit of news here, NASA astronaut, I spell this or pronounce this correctly, Kjell Lindgren, K-O-5-M-O-S, who is on the International Space Station, describes his amateur radio contact with an 8-year-old Isabella from Kent, UK, as his favorite so far. And in other upcoming news and events, September 2nd through the 14th, the Shelby, North Carolina Ham Fest will be holding the section convention. And in September 17th through 18th, the QSO Today Virtual Ham Expo, which is an online event, and ARRL is a QSO Today partner, will be going on again during September 17th to the 18th. Visit the ARRL website to search the database for the ARRL Hamfest and other conventions to find events in your local area. And August 6th to the 7th, the North American QSO Party is CW, and it will be the North American QSO Party again on single sideband August 20th to 21st, the same weekend as Huntsville Hamfest. And something that I forgot to mention earlier is that there'll be quite a few people working in the nearby park, doing some Parks on the Air at the Huntsville Hamfest. And so if you're looking for a contact in Alabama near Huntsville, there'll be plenty of us down there operating during that time. So feel free to reach out to us and all the hunters that are usually out there for POTA. Again, search the contest calendar at AWL.com for more information on this contest calendar. Well, that brings this show to a close this week, and I hope that you enjoyed it. I hope that you will submit that subscribe button and share with friends, and I hope that you learned something as well this week and that will help you in your ham radio operations. As always, this is your ham radio buddy in the chair and on the air, the ham radio guy. I say 73, Marvin W0MET.